What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Why is my microphone not on? Give me a second. Why is my microphone not on? Really? Everything looked like it's working fine. You know what this is? You know what this is? I know y'all can hear me fine, but I want y'all to be able to hear me on the microphone. This is the result of being distracted. That's what it is. I have to take accountability. This is the result of being distracted. During the prepping process, this is the result of being distracted. We just gonna work with it. Anyways, thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. You guys are the greatest group on earth. We are going to continue with the show. It is what it is, and this is just how it plays out. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you go live. And everything is not pre-recorded. So the audio may be a little bit off. It may be a little bit different than what you're used to, but we're definitely going to continue the show. Maybe this is a blessing. Maybe this is a blessing. You know what? I'm not even really interested in using regular microphones now. I've been thinking about going with lapel mics for a long time. So we just gonna rock out. We gonna continue to get it, and we gonna go ahead and get to the bag. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feel? Make sure y'all give yourselves a round of applause. What up? What up? What up? It looks better aesthetically. I do. I like it. I actually like not having a microphone in front of me. Um, we're gonna make some changes today. We're going to I think I'm gonna switch up by the time that I come back to the studio. Now, why are you asking me by the time that I come back to the studio? Well, because I was thinking about it this morning, and as I was getting distracted, I was thinking about switching the weather because I had to get out the car. I had to go pick up some new mic stands, and I've been ordering a lot of equipment and all of this other type of stuff, right? Um, and so I think I'm gonna switch up the weather. I think by this afternoon, this evening, since I don't have to do a live stream, that I'm gonna switch up the weather. So I don't know where I'm gonna go inside of the United States of America. I'm gonna go and check out the different weather across the United States. Somebody let me know where the best weather is. Somebody let me know where's the best weather inside of the United States of America right now. Somebody let me know where the best weather is. I'm interested. Where in the world is Anton going to be this afternoon? Where's the best weather, y'all? Where should I go? Where should I go? I need a weather girl. I got Mika on deck. Mika says she's gonna be my weather girl. Where's the best weather inside of the United States of America? Hawaii, California, Miami. Now you know Dallas, Texas ain't got the best weather in the United States of America. No Kansas City for me, buddy. Kansas City does not have the best weather. Let me look it up. Let me look up the weather. Miami right now this morning is 77. Hawaii is 67. It actually is better weather in Miami than it is in Hawaii. Hawaii is better weather in Miami than it is in Hawaii right now. Ain't that about something? And Miami is 77 and it's sunny every single day. Sunny every day. 80 degrees every day in Miami right now. Where else we got? Dallas. Dallas got some pretty good weather, but they 49 on some days as the high. Vegas. Nah, Vegas is a little chilly. It looked like the best weather in the United States of America right now is in Miami. It looked like it's in Miami. Florida weather is great in the wintertime. It's just outside of the wintertime and hurricane season, it gets pretty crazy. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where I end up. What's going on, friends and family? How do y'all feel today? Life is absolutely awesome. I am excited to be before you. We're gonna have a phenomenal show. Absolutely phenomenal show. Um, Let me read some of the cash apps before we get started. Then we're gonna hit y'all with prayer in the super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. Shout out to ESDC and Mike that dude. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are absolutely awesome. Rich Steve. Shout out to Rich Steve. I like that name. Says this show is my morning coffee salute. Salute to my dog Rich Steve. I appreciate you. Miss Freckles. Shout out to Miss Freckles. Miss Freckles says, I just want to send a special shout out to myself and our streets. Today is the day we bless the world with our presence. Happy birthday to all February peeps. Happy birthday to all of my February ladies. And my February peeps, happy birthday to you, Miss Freckles in our streets. I love y'all. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all been holding me down. Minnesota says Florida Manatee County. Yeah, it looked like Miami Design District is where it's at. Nothing beats Hawaii. It becomes boring if you live there. Miami is approaching hurricane season. Miami is not in hurricane season this week. So we gonna see what happens. We'll see. I'll let y'all know probably by the end of the show where we wind up ending up. But let's go ahead and get started with the show. Lord, we ask that you come before us today and be with us. Be an intercessor on anything that may not or may go wrong. You just oversee it. We're not gonna make this a long prayer because we got a lot to get to today. We love you. We appreciate you. Let your will be done in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so we're gonna bring back quick hits today. And the reason that I'm gonna bring back quick hits today is because it's a lot going on that I don't know if we need to pay so much attention to individually, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's going on in these streets. All right, so Quick Hits, y'all. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we want to bring y'all together in peace. The differences and things that happen throughout, but we don't want to spend a whole 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes on these individual things. Thank you, Albino. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And then make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, first things first. All 67 bodies from the plane crash in DC from last week have been recovered. Check it out.
Turning now to the investigation into the mid-air collision of an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army helicopter here in Washington, D.C. The bodies of all 67 victims have been recovered as crews work to fully recover the aircraft debris submerged in the Potomac River. Many of those killed were members of the figure skating community. U.S. Figure Skating sharing a moving video paying tribute to the 28 athletes, coaches, and family members who died in the crash. Their heartbreaking black and white video full of young smiling faces and those who loved them. ABC News transportation reporter Sam Sweeney joins me now live for more. And Sam, you see that video and it really tugs at your heart. But what do we know about now that all these bodies have been recovered and as crews are still working to clear that wreckage?
Well, this has certainly been a difficult task for those crews dealing with this. They are seeing the human element. We keep talking about a plane crash, but they are seeing bodies attached to this mangled wreckage, and they've had to work with that now for almost a week. It has been really difficult for them, and the fire chief saying that they will get counseling for the rest of their lives. But now that this stage of the investigation and recovery has ended, the families can begin to heal, get these bodies back to their homes, and begin these funerals. We saw one flight attendant go back to Charlotte this morning, or overnight, I should say. But this is a long process, but it will certainly now make the job a bit easier for these recovery teams as they move the wreckage out. Every time they found human remains, they had to stop working out of respect for the dead and properly bring those bodies on board those barges and get them to the medical examiner. Now they can work a bit faster. It's not been easy out there with all of the wind and the tides, but once they get that American Airlines plane out of the water, they will then move to that helicopter, which is so crucial in this investigation.
Well, and the NDSB said that it needs additional information to verify data retrieved from the Black Hawk helicopter, but it has to wait until it's removed from the Potomac. Why is that, and where does that process stand?
The black box on the helicopter is not as sophisticated as the black box on that American Airlines plane, and they need that black box to help create that timeline and get all of the data out, including the altitude. There's a discrepancy. The airplane was at 325 feet, but the tower believed that the helicopter was at 200 feet, and we will only be able to tell the true altitude of that helicopter at the time of collision when they get that data out of the helicopter black box. Now they hope to bring that helicopter up to the surface and onto a barge before the end of this week.
Aren't you? And lastly, Sam, we're learning that President Trump spoke with the CEO of American Airlines yesterday. What do we know about that conversation?
The president, wanted to thank all the team members over at American Airlines, and, American Airlines wanted to thank the president for, cutting that helicopter traffic out of the area around Reagan National Airport. This has been a back and forth, and they are grateful for that. But this was really, a touch-base conversation with the CEO of American.
Gotcha.
That's got to be dramatic. I see some people in the chat saying, "Oh man, they making the situation more dramatic than it has to be." I don't know how you can make a situation more dramatic than it has to be when you're pulling bodies, 67 of them, out of the water. How do you make it more dramatic when you got to pull bodies out of the water like that? Like, I don't think that people get enough credit for some of the jobs that they got to do. When you think about some of these jobs that we take for granted on a regular basis, and people are just doing their jobs without complaint, they don't make a whole lot of money. It's not like these people is making $250,000 a year for the jobs that they doing sometimes. And they pulling 67 bodies out of the water every single day. Can you imagine how dramatic, how bad that is to see those bodies, little kids, grown folks, frozen over, the condition that the bodies is in, and what traumatic experience the bodies experienced before they ever even hit the water and stuff like that. That's gotta be one of the worst situations ever. It's probably something that you never think about when you sign up for some of these jobs. But then you have to do some of these jobs. So y'all gotta have a level of respect for the stuff that these people do, man. These people are the first responders. These are the ones that hit the streets and take care of business on a regular basis, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could be so cold sometimes. We can be absolutely one of the coldest people in the world. Also, on top of that, flipping over to Chicago, a man is arrested with over $1 million worth of stolen Nikes and New Balance shoes. Check it out.
Call it a high-top heist. More than $1 million in stolen sneakers found in a Chicago warehouse.
Our Nate Rogers is live with the stash, and that includes Air Jordans. Nate.
Yeah, that's right, Scott and Don. Air Jordans for sure. As you just mentioned, this was no ordinary heist. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart calling this, quote, a widely sophisticated, organized operation. As you just mentioned, more than $1 million in merchandise. Take a look.
We got Nike involved and New Balance, and they were able to do their analysis of it. And this is all legit. There's no knockoffs. This is all real stuff. And as they say, wildly expensive stuff.
This is 26-year-old Eric Luciano Bautista, now facing felony theft charges. And here's all of the alleged stolen merchandise, including thousands of pairs of retro Jordan 3s and 12s, also New Balance gym shoes. The Cook County Sheriff's crime investigators executed a search warrant at a warehouse located at 15th and Western this past Friday. That's when the shoes were recovered. The Sheriff's Office says Luciano Bautista was not an authorized seller. Cook County's crime unit has recovered over $4.5 million in stolen merchandise over the last 9 months. Earlier today, via Zoom, Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart would not disclose where exactly the shoes were stolen from, but he was forthcoming in sharing their store value and even their street value.
Exactly where this was going to go. A lot of the stuff goes online at times. Other times there's an attempt to resell it at different locations. So we're not 100% sure what the end game was here, but I can tell you that this was all legitimate product that was destined for a store that these folks got, and were, as I said, going to be selling $1 million worth of this stuff. And if you go online, I mean, like a lot of the New Balance stuff that we got, those shoes are sold out anywhere. So the only way you can go is to try to get them online somewhere. And some of them, individual pair of shoes are going for $2,500.
Sheriff Tom Dart also saying Luciano Bautista did not act alone. It's believed that multiple people were involved in this. Over the weekend, Luciano Bautista did appear before a judge at 26 in California and was released from custody pending trial. Of course, we'll continue to follow.
Risked it all. Risked it all. Too much work. And I guarantee you that somewhere in there, it had to be a snitch. The only way that you can get involved and you can get this type of situation resolved as quickly as they resolved is to have a snitch inside, or somebody that caught, and then they tell on somebody that goes all the way up to the top, and then it just goes negative from there. And then last but not least, and this is no video, I just wanted to kind of go over this with you guys. Irv Gotti. Some of y'all may be a little bit too young to really understand the impact of Irv Gotti. I would imagine that the majority of you actually know who Irv Gotti is. Irv Gotti was a CEO of Murder Inc. Records that produced Ja Rule, Ashanti, Lloyd, lots of different people, and they had a lot of hits. He made hits for Jay-Z, he made hits for DMX, he made hits for a lot of different people, and worked with a lot of great producers. But there has been a long going feud between him and 50 Cent. Now, where does 50 Cent fall into this whole conversation? Well, Irv Gotti is reported to be on life support. They say that he is in a vegetative state, that he has suffered his second stroke, um, and his family and friends are basically in the process of wishing him goodbye. That is what is being reported. It has been substantiated by multiple different outlets, but they saying that this is the state that he's in, right? And so while everybody is saying their good wishes and wishing him goodbye and all of this type of stuff, 50 Cent is still ruthlessly trolling him, and it does not get any better from there. It says that 50 is showing no mercy towards Irv Gotti after his old nemesis reportedly suffered a second stroke. All right. Gotti, who is 54, has suffered another stroke after battling with health problems in recent times, including a stroke last year. So, I didn't even know that Irv Gotti had a first stroke. But then after seeing some of his old interviews, I can tell that he wasn't all the way there. And Irv Gotti recently actually sold a huge portion of his catalog to where I think he netted like somewhere like $300 million. He'll never actually be able to get to spend that money, which is crazy. That he'll never be able to enjoy the money, yet he's in a vegetative state at 54 years old. Before we get into the 50 Cent part, we got to take care of our health, y'all. Honest to God. Like, my whole goal this year is to be 100% more focused on health. Because what's the point of making all of the money in the world and you don't live to be able to spend it? What's the point? What's the point of making $1 trillion if you're not even in decent health to be able to spend it? It's not even enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that is what's happening with Irv Gotti. It says that while many have expressed sympathy for the Murder Inc. founder, 50 saw no reason to change his tune, and in typical fashion, savagely trolled Gotti over the news. In an Instagram post on Tuesday, February 4th, the TV and movie mogul posted a screenshot of a headline about Gotti suffering a stroke and added, "Dang, I wanted him to see my new shows, yo." The post that 50 reshared claimed that Gotti was on life support with friends and family saying their goodbyes, and this is unconfirmed. Gotti and his team have yet to publicly comment on the reports about his health. Listen, me personally, I never wish death. I never wish prison, and I never wish for anybody to lose their ability to take care of their family. I just don't. That's just not me. I don't rock with it. And I'm very, very, very mindful not to ever, lead with that with regard to people. I just don't believe in it. I think that life is precious. And, I think that there's always a level of respect. I actually was very, very upset at a lot of the different people that was talking nonsense to Kevin Samuels at the time when he passed away. And I got on a lot of people, including Jamal Bryant and some others. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in going after people that can't defend themselves. I also understand that 50 Cent and Irv Gotti had a long-standing feud that goes beyond anything that we may be knowing about. But you got to be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful with that. So that's just my opinion in particular. I don't. I know that a lot of people is gonna rock with 50 off of anything that he says just because he's 50 and they love him. I like 50 Cent. I actually went to his Vegas residency, his last show, and I thought that it was pretty good. But to troll somebody while they're in a vegetative state, that's pretty crazy to me. That's pretty insane to me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right. Let's continue on with the show. First, I want to read a couple of super chats and then we'll get it rocking. Let me make sure that this is right. Read a couple of super chats and then we'll continue to keep it popping, y'all. All right. Let's see. Albino says best all around weather is Sierra Vista, Arizona, or Prescott, Arizona. Both in Arizona corridor, but both at 5,000 feet. So mild year round, not too cold, high enough not to be too hot. Let me check Arizona's weather, since you saying that Arizona is all that. Arizona. Let me see what's going on with Arizona. Arizona's weather is nice right now, but it's just not as nice as Miami, to be honest with you. If you look at the weather, Arizona is nice, but it's not Miami nice. Miami right now is nice. Looks like Miami got the best weather inside of the United States of America right now. But shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Aaron L says, I can take a snowstorm. My house will still be there. Can't deal with hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes, earthquakes, typhoons, mudslides, and fires. I feel you on that. We on the same page, big dog. Thank you for rocking out and thank you for the super chats. All right, so we got a lot to cover. So first we're going to cover layoffs with the CIA. Then we're going to go into DOGE employees because it's a young team of monsters that's in there taking over everything. And then I want to transition over to Trump and Netanyahu, and Trump possibly saying that he want to take over and develop a Gaza Strip. We want to move over into somebody saying that they quit their job at 26 years old with a kid and a girl, and many, many other things, including the El Salvador prisons. All right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Magnetar17 says, be careful about laughing at your enemies if they fall. Shout out to you, Magnetar. I appreciate you. G Wiz says, with the whole 50 thing, Irv people are responsible for him getting shot in front of his grandma kid. Look up the Supreme Team. I know all about it. Everybody know all about it. It's been documented. But I know that even in war, some people have respect for some of their enemies. Listen, when people are on your deathbed, you won. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, when it's over and if they pass before you, you won. Forgiveness, I think that a lot of people miss is for you. It's not for the other person. Anyways, come on, y'all. Let's get into this show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. The CIA is now sending buyout offers to the entire agency. Check it out.
Well, first it was the FBI. Now it's the CIA that's facing a major shakeup. America's spies agency is being offered sweeping buyout. That means every CIA staffer can quit in exchange for about 8 months' pay. The move is meant to weed out those who don't support the MAGA agenda. And the buyouts are meant to support the agency's new goals of targeting drug cartels and undermining China. Meanwhile, over at the J. Edgar Hoover building, it's even more tense. The FBI today complied with a DOJ demand to give information on thousands of agents who worked January 6th cases. We're talking about ID numbers and job titles, not names. Several FBI agents even filed a lawsuit accusing the DOJ of conducting a loyalty purge. The acting director of the FBI, Brian Driscoll, has tried to stand in the way, defending the rank and file and becoming somewhat of a G-man folk hero along the way, with AI memes like this one, celebrating him for pushing back on the agency's purge. But soon, Driscoll will have to face his new boss, the newly confirmed Attorney General Pam Bondi, who begins her first full day tomorrow. Lots to get to on all of this tonight with National Security Attorney Mark Zaid and former top counterterrorism executive at the FBI, Christopher O'Leary, who's currently a senior VP for global operations at the Sufin Group. Thank you both for being here. Chris, let me begin with you. I want to know what your reaction is to now CIA employees, all of them really, being offered buyouts. Combine that with the FBI news, everyone's wondering, is this going to put Americans in danger?
Well, Laura, simple answer is yes. The combination between the FBI and the CIA, those are two of our primary agencies responsible for our national security, whether it's counterterrorism, great power competition, you name it, from head to toe. Those two organizations are what protect America along with the Department of Defense. Eroding the workforce or really getting after the morale and really empowerment of the workforce is going to have a direct impact on national security at every level. It will also have, from the FBI standpoint, a real impact on fighting crime on the streets, which is what this administration says they want to do. But FBI agents and leadership, they run those violent crime task forces around the country with state and local partners. They run the transnational organized crime task forces around the world. So really reducing their ability to do all of this is going to have a measurable effect on the crime in the United States and in the region.
I mean, I can't imagine having.
How many people actually trust these government agencies to do what they're supposed to do? Just a round of hands. How many people trust these government agencies to be above board, to be taking care of business, and to be doing what they're supposed to do? I don't agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert on the CIA or the FBI, but historically, we don't even learn about some of the stuff that happens inside of these government agencies until decades later. Now we know that the CIA has been pouring drugs into the community and been doing some of the worst things inside of our communities on a regular basis. Okay, cool. Now we know that the FBI was a part of some of these murders and these assassinations that happened over periods of time. Cool. Now we familiar with half of this stuff, right? And I think that there needs to be an overhaul. Do I think that a lot of these agents are or agencies are doing some of the things that they're supposed to do? Probably, probably the majority of the employees, but I don't think that they ask no questions. And more importantly, if what they're saying is true, on this live stream right now, if what these people over at CNN, and you know we can't trust CNN, so we use them as a source, but then we gather our own information or we develop our own opinion based off of outside resources along with whatever it is that they're reporting, right? Right? We gather our own opinions, we come up with our own synopsis of what's going on. If what they're reporting is true, they are reporting that they're trying to make sure and include the fact that you are loyal to the agenda that is now being assigned by the people over to the Trump administration to do what you're supposed to do, right? So a buyout, a buyout offer is this. It could be one of two things. The first thing that a buyout offer can be is it could be an opportunity to downsize an agency and to remove the people that are already at retirement age or no longer want to be there. The second thing that it does is it removes or it gives people the opportunity to leave that don't actually believe in what the Trump administration wants them to do. So if you are a loyalist to the Biden administration and you're unable to do your job effectively, now you have 8-month severance and a phenomenal resume to be able to move over to something completely different, right? They already said that they were targeting at least 5 to 10% people that take the buyout offers across all federal agencies. So if this be true, and you don't actually believe in the agenda that is assigned to the Trump administration and you don't actually align with it, then this is your opportunity to leave. If you are truly dedicated to the United States of America and doing your job the right way and is operating without having to worry about the transparency issues, then I'm pretty sure that you're not going to take the buyout offer. If this is what your dream was, if you've always wanted to work for the CIA or the FBI and you really believe in what you're doing and you really believe in this administration, I have a hard time believing that your morale is down. Why is morale up for the police officers? Why is morale up for Border Patrol? Why is everybody signing up to be ICE agents? Why is everybody signing up to deport all of these illegal migrants into this country? Everybody is enthusiastic about getting involved and participating in making sure that they're doing the thing that's in the best interest of America. Whereas in the last administration, you can see the defeat on Border Patrol agents' faces. They documented some of the things and the sentiments of what was happening with ICE agents. They hated their job. They hated the fact that they had to sit there and let people over the border, so much so to where they would cover up their faces and wouldn't even let anybody see their faces, and it wasn't for protection purposes. It was because they didn't want to be associated with the Biden administration. And so if these people are so enthusiastic about doing the things that's best for American citizens, then they're going to be there. And if not, then you're going to weed out the people that's not supposed to be there because they feel entitled to have the job, but they don't feel entitled to be able to do the job. It takes a special person to step outside of how you feel and do the thing that's in the best interest of the people. That's why we give them so much appreciation. That's why we show love to police officers. That's why we show love to Border Patrol agents. That's why we say thank you to your service to our military members. They make sacrifices outside of themselves. They don't make $1 trillion, but if you truly believe in it and if you think that this is your purpose, then you 100% in there. So I don't agree with him with my little measly opinion. I don't agree with what he's saying right now.
Having that level of turnover in an instant at this moment in time, Mark. And the big question is, suppose all these employees say, no thanks, I don't want your buyout. Does the DOJ have the legal authority to then remove these agents, remove these analysts?
Well, that's a good question. Look, the FBI has a lot of civil service protections in the normal world. I've represented FBI personnel for almost 30 years or so, maybe more now, I guess, and all the agencies. And I mean, even at the agencies where the director could actually legally remove someone without any due process, and that does exist at a number of the agencies in statute, in regulations, they don't do it. I've had one case in 30 years, and I've never come across another because all the agencies have always believed in.
Did you say Trump got to go, Brown Ocean? Nah, we like what Trump is doing right now. We like what Trump is doing. We not saying that Trump got to go at all. I don't know where you from. I don't know how you feel about that. We respect people's opinions and their differences of opinion. But nah, we actually like what the Trump administration is doing right now. I don't believe Trump got to go. I believe that Trump should stay. What about you? Everybody in the chat, y'all let me know. Do y'all think that Trump has got to go because he's actually going through and making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do? Or do you think that Trump is doing the right thing and that we want to keep him? Y'all let me know. Do y'all think that Trump got to go? Do not time her out. Do not time her out just because she got a difference of opinion. Do y'all like the fact that Trump is going through and he's auditing and research and restructuring everything that's happening in our government agencies? Or do you think that Trump got to go? Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the chat.
Due process. Now, sure, when Robert Hansen got arrested by the FBI for spying for Soviet Union Russia, he didn't get due process. There's a national security exception.
I like that. Looks like you outnumbered,
fire
baby.
Employees for something of that nature. But for working on an assigned criminal matter that was prosecuted across the United States for attacking the Capitol, and yet somehow you get fired for that with no due process. I mean, even if you just get fired for that with due process, that's just not the system we're used to, nor should we tolerate.
Well, Mark, I mean, you went from hearing about one to you may have scores, frankly, of members of these organizations who are looking for representation. You represent a number of the FBI agents already. What are they telling you about how they are feeling about the prospect of not only our security, but how vulnerable they are to being let go?
Well, I can say not just from the FBI, since obviously those buyout offers have gone to many agencies. They are demoralized. These are individuals who, for example, the lawsuit we filed today against the FBI, I think the shortest term was like 8 years of service. A couple were over 20, almost a quarter of a century. At all of the agencies, when they woke up to get an email from OPM that was, if you read it, just insulting, was basically saying, look, we don't really need you any longer. If you want to take the buyout, good riddance. And these are really dedicated public servants who are not partisan. I have no idea how they voted Republican, Democrat. They don't care either. And it is, I don't know how the government's going to function. I mean, I think that's the bottom line in these agencies. And the amount of experience that we are about to use and the extent to which that will harm American national and domestic security, you can't even actually articulate the degree. I mean, forget about whether or not your tax returns are going to be filed or processed properly, or you just name any type of institutional, your Social Security checks. You know how slow things go in the government in a normal time? You can imagine when there's, 10%, 20%, 30% less workforce.
Chris, I mean, just hearing.
I'll take my chances. I actually like what's going on right now. And I also like the fact that Elon Musk is moving with the speed of an Olympic sprinter.
That it makes you just, my head keeps shaking looking to think about how this could be viewed internationally, how people would be able to share information with us, the trust in the absence, frankly, a dearth at that point of institutional knowledge and cases that are ongoing that have nothing to do with January 6th whatsoever. You got the acting FBI director, Chris, Brian Driscoll. He has become something of a kind of hero for the FBI's rank and file. And in fact, he initially refused to give the names of the agents to the DOJ. And then he released this video today. Watch.
We will never take our eyes off of our mission, protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution. Because at the Bureau, we're focused on the work. And people we do the work with, our partners, and the people we do the work for, the American people.
You actually worked with him. How do you think he's handling what, frankly, is an unfathomable position?
So Brian is the best of us in the FBI. He's a humble professional who made an incredible reputation based on his work and his courage and his bravery and his humility. And that's all being demonstrated in front of all of us right now, along with Rob Kassane, the acting deputy director. They both have incredible operational experience. Nobody's ever heard of them before. They have not really spent much time in headquarters because they have been in the field protecting this country. Brian is doing what he would have done on any Friday when he stood up last Friday. He's being a leader. He is, carrying out justice with integrity and strength and courage, and that's what we should expect in our leaders. And he is focused on two things: the mission of the FBI and the welfare of his people, and that's what you should have in a leader, and that's what he is really demonstrating to the entire country, and he has a huge following in the FBI workforce.
Listen, I'm actually in support of everything that I've seen the president do thus far. There are some things that I am looking to understand, and I'm gonna ask those questions during this particular live stream. But I don't have any objection to what I see happening from the president right now. And I'm not sure how you guys feel, but I don't have any objection whatsoever. I think that the president is doing a great job. I think that we need to 100% support what we see happening inside of the United States of America. It's funny because nobody had any complaints whatsoever when we was talking about the Biden administration and what we seen from them. We don't even question. Liberals never even questioned what was happening in the Biden administration. They just blindly followed. They went along. There was a go along, get along game. They didn't trip about it. They blindly followed them to the end of the earth. They allowed for 1 trillion migrants to come inside of the country, and they just rocked out. Never even tripped, never even had any kind of rejection whatsoever. They just rolled with it. They just 100% rolled with the Biden administration, and they said, you know what? We actually believe in you. And it's amazing. But now that we have a level of transparency, they saying that if you don't want to be here, then you can leave. And people are sitting here complaining about it. I don't understand it. Honest to God, I genuinely don't understand how y'all see things. I don't understand how y'all make some of the decisions that y'all make on a daily basis. I don't even know how y'all got to be the age that y'all are without any kind of pushback from what's going on inside of life. I'm so confused. Honest to God, I am genuinely confused. But ladies and gentlemen, that is what's going on inside of the FBI and the CIA for that matter. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We are absolutely enjoying what you guys are giving to us and how y'all rocking out with us. And so we appreciate y'all for continuing to hold us down. Let me read a few of the super chats, and then we're gonna move over to the next portion of the show. Chris Cunningham says they still trafficking guns and drugs on freight trains to Chicago. Maybe. Did you steal a couple? You know what I'm saying? Liberals don't like the buyout because it extinguishes their excuses for whining. Why would you stay in an organization you don't align with? I agree. Mark G then says, get Judge Joe Brown and Tariq Nasheed on the show. We'll see. Executive Suite, Emily says, what up, though? The package I sent actually arrived yesterday to the P.O. Box. Bag chasers unite and get money. Stay away from they. We went over here. I like that. Sean, shout out to Sean. Sean says, tariffs on Brown Ocean for her remarks on Trump. We got to be tolerant of other people's views just because they may not necessarily agree with us. We definitely got to be tolerant of other people's views. All right, let's move over to the next portion of the show. Musk's young DOGE employees are basically being revealed. And I talked about this on After Hours yesterday. Shout out to everybody that was a part of After Hours yesterday. But the young employees is being revealed, and people are absolutely in an outrage. These liberals are in an outrage. This is some of what's being said. Check it out.
President Trump and Elon Musk are moving forward to make significant changes to the U.S. Agency for International Development. And critics are arguing USAID has become a slush fund wasting taxpayer money. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt gave a blistering account of the agency's absurd spending yesterday.
Here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look, because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government.
Wow. I hope they were taking notes. Now we're learning more about Elon Musk's small army to cut the wasteful spending. These young engineers were reportedly handpicked by Elon Musk, and the oldest is just 25 years old. And
when y'all see this picture right here and you're looking at these guys, what do you think? Because I was asking the people on the panel yesterday, on After Hours, and they actually thought that it would be a great thing. They didn't object to it whatsoever. What do y'all think about these young guys? They saying that the majority of these young guys are freshly removed out of high school. Some of them are interns. All of them are interns or they work for major companies. And that they're basically the 6 of these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 of these guys. Somebody said number 3 from the left or number 4 from the left, they might have questions about him. But in a general sense, what do y'all think about these young bulls that's going in and basically upending an agency and determining what's going to happen, and they don't have any kind of real true biases because the only thing that they knew is how to get things done and how to take care of business. What do y'all think about these young bulls? What do y'all think? I like them. I like them 100%. I like them 100%. But let's continue. I want to pivot over to CNN as usual because they did a review with Wired and they were basically breaking down all of the details of these young bulls that's coming in there and what's going on with Elon Musk. Let me move over to when she started talking to her, and then we'll deep dive into it going on from there, all right?
Musk is sending in to these federal agencies. So, Kim, I mean, these stories are sort of amazing. And then you're thinking, what world are we living in where you have, an unelected, unconfirmed individual with so much power going into a system with trillions of dollars of payments and other government agencies? You've been focusing on 6 computer engineers. They're all men and they are young. The youngest is 19.
And Aaron,
why does it matter that they're men? That's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out. Why does it matter that they're all men and that they're young? Somebody last night said that woke liberals and raging liberals will be mad because there's no black person in there. But let's continue.
Just to be clear, this is the world we are living in. And Wired has been documenting a few sort of small parts of this world, including, yes, we have identified, and our reporting has identified 6 young men. All of our reporting indicates they are between the ages of 19 and 24. They are either recent high school or recent college graduates. High school graduates in at least one case.
That makes them mad right there.
Either Musk-owned companies or Peter Thiel-owned companies. So One is a former Palantir intern, another interned at SpaceX.
Monsters.
One is a Teal Fellow. Another recently completed a summer internship at Neuralink, which of course is also owned by Elon Musk.
All right, so what?
Hey, imagine getting let go because you was being lazy at your job by a former intern at Palantir or at Neuralink.
What are they? What are they actually doing, and who's paying them for the work?
Well, it's to be candid, a little bit difficult to ascertain exactly what they are doing. What we do know is they are working across several federal agencies, including DOGE, of course, as well as the Office of Personnel Management, which is essentially the HR function for the government, and the General Services Administration, which oversees things like federal buildings, leases, and then technology and IT. So what we do know is that these young men are working at the behest of Musk and his team that he has brought in across these agencies on a number of engineering-related tasks.
So, okay, Elon Musk wants anyone talking about this, sharing the names of these DOGE employees charged with a crime. Obviously, these are people who are going in and now going to have access to payment systems that affect hundreds of millions of Americans, possibly if you talk about Treasury and certainly federal employees. He's got the backing of the U.S. Trump attorney in Washington, says the FBI and prosecutors are investigating.
Yep.
Has Musk reached out to you or any of his lawyers or anything?
We haven't heard from Musk or his legal team. Obviously, what I would say is that our reporting speaks for itself. It is rigorously reported and fact-checked and vetted by our spectacular legal team, and we look forward to continuing doing the work, trying to figure out exactly what Elon Musk and his team are doing inside of these federal agencies.
And it's important work, it's brave work.
Thank you.
In terms of what they're doing, do you know what they're doing when they go in this? I mean, are they, I don't know, looking at this data, putting this data somewhere else, or do we know what they're doing?
Well, let me give you sort of one specific example that we were able to ascertain. In at least some instances, these men appear to be essentially evaluating the work product of federal employees. So, one of the sort of departments that sits inside one of these federal agencies is tasked with essentially IT and technology. So we do know that one of these young men, a recent high school graduate who interned at Neuralink, was part of meetings where federal employees in this department were asked to submit code if they were engineers, as well as a one-sheet documenting their productivity. So sort of recent wins, barriers to productivity, barriers to efficiency, which actually calls back to Elon Musk's Twitter takeover. If you recall, he also, in that instance, asked Twitter employees to submit one-sheets documenting their productivity, as well as conducted code reviews. So we know that at least one of these individuals with a Gmail email address, I should add, as of late last week, has been meeting with federal workers to review their code and their productivity. So that's what they're up to.
So basically what she's saying is these employees are basically going through the same way that they went through at Twitter. Remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter? I don't know if any of y'all actually remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter. Everybody said that it was going to crash and burn, that it was no longer going to be a thing, that it wouldn't be up and running, that the whole company was going to go down and drain, that they needed every last one of those employees that was there because they were essential workers, and we didn't need to gut all of these departments because we needed everybody to do their job in order for the company to stay up and running, even though the company was never profitable since its inception. Twitter had never been profitable. They never had a profitable year prior to Elon Musk coming in. Then Elon Musk came in and say, okay, we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you. For everybody else, we don't need all of these masseuses over here. We don't need all of these diversity, equity, and inclusion employees over here. But for the rest of y'all, I need y'all to submit a one sheet. This was the process. They said, I need y'all to submit a one sheet. And in that one sheet, let me know what your successes are. Let me know what your job description is, what your barriers to entry are, what are your problems, and how you continue to be productive and add value into the company. And then you start seeing a lot of women pop up on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube saying, oh my God, I got laid off from Twitter. I got laid off. I don't know what to do. Without me, the company is going to fail. and they actually are thriving more than ever. You don't see any downtime. You don't see any issues. You don't see any problems. We removed the censorship. They then revealed all of the documents that basically said that the Biden administration and people previous to that was throttling them and withholding information, and they were kicking everybody off of social media platforms in an effort to censor them. So basically, we got transparency, we got better ran companies, and we got better employees that weren't diversity, equity, and inclusion, but that was focused on making sure that the company was running at its optimal position, which now allows for X, formerly known as Twitter, to be able to run efficiently and profitably. That is basically what's happening. Government employees, for the longest, has been able to sit there and not add any value. I'm not saying all of y'all, because some of y'all are incredibly great at what you do, but a lot of y'all have been just basically getting paid for the stay. Y'all have been quiet quitters for a long time. Basically, you're doing the minimum possible just to stay on the payroll, but you're probably going to get your nails done, your hair done, nails done, everything did, hair done, nails done, everything. Oh, you fancy, huh? Y'all been chilling for a long time. And then you will complain and say, nobody wants to hire an older worker. That's because you get lazy as you get older. You get complacent. You don't actually add to your skill set. You've been doing the same thing for a long time. And since we're using taxpayer money, we haven't had to be responsible looking at it from a business perspective the same way that most other companies look at it. But now you got to submit a one sheet. You don't even know what a one sheet is. When the last time y'all actually had a real review? How many of y'all actually know your boss's name? It's different in private corporate America and private or publicly owned companies than it is to be a federal worker. It's way different. Most federal workers that I know are lazy and they don't do anything, nothing, nada, zilch. Most federal workers that I know, and again, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Most federal workers that I know are lazy. I'm being honest with you. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We gonna tell the truth and shame the devil, or we gonna act like we don't know what's going on? Most federal workers, most workers are lazy. That's just the honest to God truth. It does. That's all right. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me.
Incredible. All right. Katie, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Katie Drummond and a team at Wire are doing.
Don't get mad at me. Look at Chandre feeling some type of way. Chandre, are you bothered by my analogy and my soliloquy? Because see, if I open up the lines and I say, okay, well, call me and let me know. Tell me how you're not lazy. Tell me how you more productive. Listen, most men. All right, now we got to have a conversation. If you are a man, if you are a man, I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Most people I know that wind up becoming federal workers, to be honest with you, they don't believe in a job that they doing. They actually are doing it to be either A, comfortable, or B, they doing it in order to get their student loan forgiven. I know ain't nobody gonna call. That's why I ain't even gonna drop the link in the chat. Most federal workers, most, not all, if the shoe fit, wear it. They are there because they know that it's easy and it's comfortable. Most, not the ones with the high security clearances and all of that, right? Most, or they're there and they trying to bide their time long enough to get their student loan forgiven after 10 years of paying based off of their income, not actually paying what they borrowed. When women a lot of times go to school and they get their $100, $120, $150,000 loans and some trash degree, they wind up becoming public service employees, and then they apply for the program so that they can get their student loans forgiven. Oh, y'all didn't like that, huh? Y'all don't like that I'm telling the truth? Now we got to have real conversations because I don't have to worry about being part of legacy media and I'm actually telling y'all what's really happening. You get your fifth year, you're like, skip it. I might as well stay in there because I can't afford to pay my loans. And if I get 5 more years based off of what I say that based off of what I say what my expenses are and what my income is, I can get my student loans forgiven. So now you got your little social work degree or you got your African American studies, and then you go and work for the federal government or you go and become a public service employee and you work there for 10 years, you can get your student loans forgiven. That's why they there. They there for the benefits because you get incredible benefits. You there to get your student loans forgiven, and you there because it's easy and it ain't hard. It's easy. It's slow motion. It's chill music. You know what I'm saying? Half of y'all ain't even at work half the time that y'all supposed to be there. And so now you get mad at me because they auditing you to figure out what you really do on a daily basis, and it's messing up your plans. It's messing up your plans. But they say, Anton, don't tell the truth because it's not popular. Oh no, we really are productive. You ain't productive. You lying. You don't even do nothing. You work 1.5 hours per day. You've gotten so good and your job has become so easy that you ain't even tripping about it no more. You chilling. You chilling. You can coast. You coast every single day. Every day you chilling. You coast. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that out loud. You told me that you wanted to have a conversation. Now you mad because you about to get laid off. And don't worry about it. Listen, this is what I know for sure, and then we're going to move over to the next part of the show. Federal employees have not felt the pain that the rest of us has felt in our lifetime and what getting laid off really mean. See, I don't care if you're a regular corporate white collar worker or if you've already excelled up in the high levels of corporate America, or if you're an Amazon worker, or if you're a plant worker, if you're an automotive worker, if you work for a supplier, a warehouse, no matter where you work, if you've worked in the public sector, not the public sector, if you worked in the private sector or you worked for a regular corporate America, at some point you either feared it was right there on the table, you got downsized, you've seen other employees get laid off, or you've been laid off yourself. I don't know hardly anybody that has worked in the private sector that has not faced layoffs. That's just a part of life, baby. Come on in here with the rest of us. Oh, you thought that you was going to get your 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and that you was going to coast on taxpayer money, get your student loans forgiven, and then you was going to throw it up in men's faces and say, see, I don't need y'all. I can do what I want to do. See all of these basket weaving degrees behind me that we can't even see what they for? I got my master's degree. I got 8 PhDs because my job is paid for my schooling, and they forgave me for my loans, and you thought that you was going to throw it in our face. You're going to have to start eating what you kill like the rest of us. I told y'all, what was that, yesterday? I told you yesterday that the free ride was over. Now you got to compete because you can't just get paid off of regular taxpayer dollars. Now you got to compete. Now you feeling some type of way. Now you mad at me because I'm actually telling you the truth of what you're going to have to deal with on a regular basis. You're not special. You're not special. This is what the rest of us deal with for the longest. Even during the 2008 crisis, if you was a federal worker, you were largely protected. You just had to stay put, stay quiet, don't say nothing, don't let your chair go too far over to the left or too far over to the right. Just stay in your job and you ain't even have to deal with nothing. Pandemic, no problem. Meltdown in the stock market, we gonna get taxpayer dollars. Don't worry about it, we'll just run up the deficit. The rest of us, The company's profits, it went along with whatever it is that the jobs was going on at the time. If the company ain't doing well, you ain't doing well. If you doing well, the company may be doing well. You're gonna make way more money than everybody else, but you got to deal with the ebbs and flows of what happens inside of the market. For all of y'all public sector workers, you was largely protected. You ain't even have to deal with none of the stuff that we had to deal with. Back to reality. I told you, no more free rides. They got them young bulls over there at the Department of Government Efficiency going through and figuring out, getting your one sheet together. You don't even have a LinkedIn. You don't even know what it feels like to apply for a job anymore. You don't even have a cover letter. Your picture is outdated. You have a picture with hair on it and you ain't had hair in 15 years. You don't even look like your profile picture. You don't even look like your badge no more at work. You don't even look like your badge anymore at work. You are a completely different person than when you entered the workforce and you've been there for so long that you got comfortable. And now you got to start paying the piper. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the ebbs and flows of what capitalism really look like. Welcome. Welcome to the real world. You done had 10 weeks of vacation time every year for the last 10 years. And it's just been rolling over and rolling over and rolling over. You don't even know who your supervisor is. You're going to know today. When Elon Musk get done with you, you're going to find out today. I don't care where you at. CIA, FBI, USAID, all of these abbreviations that we got in these departments, by 2026, it's on. You better go and get yourself together because it's going to come. It's coming, and you don't like the fact that I'm telling you. And I'm not even the person that's laying you off. I'm just the person that's giving you the information. I would suggest that you be very, very diligent in making sure that you take care of business right now. Don't wait for it to come to you. Prepare yourself for it because we got to take care of business. We got to get to it. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what's going on. Anyways, let me read some of the super chats. April Rivers says, whining with 8 months of pay is crazy. It ain't that ain't what they whining about. They whining about the fact that they got to go out here and eat what they kill with the rest of us. 8 months ain't meaning nothing. They got to go and find another job and actually get some work done. Tamiko, what up, Tamiko? Oh, I like Tamiko. Got that hair? What up? Hey, Anton, I think people have gotten so used to such a relaxed government that due to leadership, then order being restored, they are super uncomfortable. Ken J says this exposes what liberals don't want us to see, that America's brightest actually look exactly like we thought that they did. That is 100% truth. High Tolerance goes on to say, good morning, AD. I'm all for DOGE Youngblood. In my opinion, they'll be more focused on the job and from the looks, don't seem to be distracted by the box and all things related. Let the old heads hate. Old heads is trying to retire. They ain't trying to be out here hustling with them young folk. There is never any outrage when an 18 or 19-year-old girl does OF or Corno, but God forbid a 19-year-old man does something productive in society. You are 100% right. Y'all on it today in the Super Chats. Bond K. George says, as someone a part of Gen Z, I love it. Our generation wants common sense to come back. Out with the old, in with the new. Ash, shout out to my dog Ash. I appreciate you. These young men are the future, and Gen Z voters should be very proud their generation is making a difference in improving their future, standing and earning towards America's future. Boomers, Gen X, older millennials, F up. Shut the F up. We tired of it. Eric Wolf Harris goes on to say, liberals are just drama queens. They are mad about nothing. I like Doge Boy Scouts. Facts. Pink slips on everybody. Tariffs. My girl Mika, my beautiful Barbie doll, Mika. That's my personal weather girl, even if y'all don't get to see it. Says 80 DC Fed workers are mad, driving back lazy. Ash goes on to say, Gen Z recognizes as boomers, Gen X, and older millennials who want to divide Americans by race, gender, orientation, etc. Gen Z men are more conservative than previous generations and want to lead and seek fidelity in a mate. I like that. Kid Chameleon goes on to say, don't be mad. UPS is hiring. UPS is hiring. It is. Ice Rizzo says, are you saying the military is, see, as usual, It's always people that want to try to modify your words. Are you saying military is lazy because military is federal employees? In fact, the majority of federal employees are military. Did I say military employees? Or did I say if the shoe fits, wear it? If the shoe fit, wear it. And some of y'all are lazy because I know some of y'all. I got coaching calls with y'all. They need to get DEI out of the military, to be honest with you. Always somebody. It's like if I was to say, man, dog, black culture is trash, or I hate being in the hood. Are you saying that everybody that was raised in the hood was bad for the culture and that nobody ever made it out in the hood? Like, come on, fam. Come on, fam. Read between the lines, kiddo. If this is what our military is producing, I might have to question it a little bit, to be honest with you. A.R. Smitty says, independent women to, I'm in the bind, Nate, the fall off about to be crazy. Clay Hart goes on and say, AD, did you hear that you can apply for a license as a podcaster to ask questions in the White House press? Yeah, I applied for it. We'll see who they pick. I applied for it the first day that it came out. Shout out to my dog, Mark Muhammad in the building. Says, you a D in here. Shout out to my Cubs in the building. Says, AD, you can tell most of us don't lead. We think it's easy when it's a daily hodgepodge of dilemmas. It's always chest up, that high. And you have to make creative plays to force the best outcomes. KS says, a-holes get its done, pussies don't. That's 100% sure. Shout out to my dog, Martin Muhammad. I love you, big dog. Kenneth Brown says, Trump played chicken and won. Sleepy Domain is in the building, says the Gaza Strip takeover is a bad idea. We're going to explore that next. Anton, 8 million a pay. Join Bag Chasers, growing, running it up. Shout out to my dog, Whiskey Pierre Luis. Joan, shout out to Joan. Joan says, American people want to know where their money is going. I agree, Joan. Tresta, what up, Tresta? Says, I pray that they put the U.S. Virgin Islands on notice too. I didn't even think of that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, and don't get offended by what's going on here at the Millionaire Morning Show. Just send it to your friends and family, and make sure you subscribe. If you're not a part of the Patreon, then you need to be a part of the Patreon, and let's get it. All right? All right, let's continue. Trump says the U.S. will take ownership of a Gaza Strip. But before we get to that, Trump is addressing threats and rumors, saying what he would do if they decided to try to assassinate him. Check it out.
Sir, this is a national security presidential memorandum that seeks to impose maximum pressure on the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Many of these provisions are similar to actions that your administration took during your first administration. The basic idea here is to have every department and agency, or many departments and agencies in your government attempt to sanction and control Iranian activities, particularly relating to the Iranian nuclear program and the Iranian export of terrorism through support of various proxy groups abroad. And the intent here is to give you all of the possible tools I'd say.
Organized truth, that is correct. The laptop mic is on. We're using a makeshift mic because for whatever reason, my regular microphone is not operating the way that it needs to. But we're going to make some adjustments, so we're going to make sure that everything is good going forward. Thank you, Big Dog, for pointing it out. It is the laptop mic today, so we're just making a little bit of adjustment. Next time we back in the studio, we'll get back to regular.
Engage with the Iranian government to ensure that going forward they are less of a malign actor on the world stage.
So this is one that I'm torn about. Everybody wants me to sign it. I'll do that. It's very tough on Iran. It's what we had before. We would have never had the problem. You would have never had October 7th. We would have never had the problem had the election gone a different way, which it should have. But this one, I think, more than made up for it. I think we're doing things, and it shows that more than made up for it. Much more historic. The Iran situation, hopefully, I'm going to sign it, but hopefully we're not going to have to use it very much. We will see whether or not we can arrange or work out a deal with Iran, and everybody can live together, and maybe that's possible, and maybe it's not possible. So I'm signing this, and I'm unhappy to do it, but I really have not so much choice because we have to be strong and firm, and I hope that it's not going to have to be used in any great measure at all. It'd be great if we could have a Middle East and maybe a world at total peace. Right now, you don't have that. When I left, you had peace all over the world, and now you have the world is blowing up. As you know, Bibi is coming in to see me later. Others are coming in to see me. We'll see what we can do. But I'm signing this, and hopefully it will be a document which won't be very important, will hardly have to be used.
So what kind of deal would you be prepared to
Well,
make
we're going to
with
see. I mean, we're going to see. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. With me, it's very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to be tough on Iran. We don't want to be tough on anybody, but they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Mr. President, are you going to engage in conversations with your counterpart in Iran?
I would.
Do you want to block the sale of Iranian oil to other nations?
Well, we have the right to do that, and that's what I did before. And they had no money. They wouldn't have had the money for Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. It could have been solved. This thing, it just, if things went the way they should have, this would have been over long ago. But it's not over.
How close do you think Iran is to developing nuclear weapons?
I think they're close. I think they're close. They're too close. But again, you could go back 4 years. I would have said they would have had it during this intervening period. But they're pretty close, Peter.
And why say that you're unhappy to sign it if it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani?
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why. Lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing this, and it's a...
Wait a minute. We're not just going to skip over what he said. He said, hey, Dog said, Trump says, I left instructions. So a part of his will, if anything was to ever happen to him from an assassination perspective, he's saying that Iran needs to be wiped off the map in the face of the earth. I'm about to do that with my will. Hey, if I ever get assassinated, make sure that their whole family don't survive. Take out the whole house. He said, if anything was to ever happen to me, the instruction is to obliterate and destroy everything. Don't leave one house standing. Everybody gotta go. I don't care who said it, what said it, why, where, why, and how. If they think it, blow them. If they dream it, destroy them. If they kids even think about it, take them off the face of the earth. Wipe them off the whole map. No mercy, no thoughts, no none of that. You got to think twice before you approach Trump. He was also speaking next to about taking over the Gaza Strip. Now, this one I'm a little bit trying to figure this one out. But he did a press conference and they were answering questions. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Minister, you are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death and destruction and rubble and demolished buildings falling all over. It's just a terrible sight. I've studied it. I've studied this very closely over a lot of months, and I've seen it from every different angle. And it's a very, very dangerous place to be, and it's only going to get worse. And I think this is an idea that's gotten tremendous, and I'm talking about from the highest level of leadership, gotten tremendous praise. And if the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Okay.
Somebody help me to understand this, because for a long time I've been trying to research it. For a long time I've been trying to understand it. I've been trying to figure it out for myself. And somebody give me some insight on this, all right? I'm open to it. I want to know, and I'm trying to figure it out. Why are we so gung-ho on supporting? Let me get to the rest of the press conference and then I'll ask my questions, okay?
Let's go. Caitlin, go ahead. Caitlin.
Thank you so much, President Trump.
Caitlin, go ahead.
On what you were saying there.
Say it. Go ahead, please.
Just to follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you
suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad.
Where do those people go in the meantime, Mr. President?
But more important.
Y'all got to stop. Listen, this lady right here, I believe she's a CNN correspondent. This lady loves to just start talking right in the middle of whatever your question is. Trump has a great way of continuing his thought and just continuing to talk over whatever the reporter is saying. But she always just start throwing another question in the middle of whatever it is that he's saying. I don't know if that's a strategy that they teach you in journalism school or what, but she always just start throwing a different question right in the middle of whenever Trump is making his full thoughts. You got to shut the hell up. You got to shut up and let him finish what he's saying.
Importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation, because they're living in hell, and those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done, and people can live in harmony and in peace. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let me just ask a question. I just want to know something. So the Israeli Prime Minister, Netanyahu, they said that he said that the idea was worth paying attention to, but it has been roundly rejected by Arab nations and some U.S. allies. What would be the benefit of us actually owning a piece of and developing the Gaza Strip? What would be the net benefit of it? I'm not going to get on board. I'm assuming that maybe he's looking at it from a business perspective, and maybe we can net a decent amount of revenue as a result of it or whatever. Or maybe it signals peace between Israel and Hamas for them to continue to have a ceasefire and try to build a better relationship over a period of time if they know that the United States of America is participating in what's happening over in Gaza, right? But I don't understand this. I don't understand why we would want to be involved in international relations like this, because all it does would plunge us further into division if anything was to ever happen between Israel and Hamas again, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe in investing in other places unless it's going to have a significant return back here for the United States of America, but I just don't see it. I genuinely don't see it. I also do not understand our dedication to an alliance with Israel. I don't understand that either. I don't understand why we involved in that. And I'm open enough to be able to be transparent and say to you guys, I don't get it. It don't make sense. It's a weird situation for me. I don't always say that I agree with everything just because I'm a conservative or just because I'm Republican. If I don't understand something, somebody's got to educate me. Somebody's got to bring me to the front of the congregation and give me some more insight so that I can make a more informed decision. I'm not just going to say, yeah, that was a great idea, or yeah, he's right about this because A, B, and C. I can't justify it. I don't know why he is right about this. Somebody got to educate me. I don't understand it. I'm looking in the chat and I'm trying to find out where somebody can give me some insight so I can better get it. It's probably a negotiation tactic. Trump never does nothing for free. U.S. owning Gaza. U.S. owning Gaza. The U.S. will no longer need to be tied to Israel. I'm not playing stupid. I'm trying to better understand exactly what's going on. I want to know what the full play is. See, all of us can have a theory of what goes on or what could possibly be, but a theory doesn't mean anything. Like that's cool. Theories, making an educated guess, so on and so forth. But I'm truly trying to understand why or what our benefit is to having this hard of an alliance with Israel. Honestly, I'm just trying to understand it. I'll do more research. And I'll look to better understand it, but I'm not going to agree with something just for the sake of agreeing. I also need to better understand it. So, anyways, neither here nor there. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats and then we'll go from there. Thank you to everybody that's supporting the platform. I appreciate y'all. A-Man01 is in the building and says they go in the military and don't want to fight. Shout out to my dog. This new look is fire. Shout out to my dog, O'Shea Duke Jackson. O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back. Shout out to my dog, O'Shea. I appreciate you. Mr. Chill 211 King says, I work in the federal government and I'm ex-military and I came from the hustle of corporate America sales to this place, all gung-ho, and these folks told I was doing the most when I was doing my job. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Mr. Chill. Thank you for holding me down. TB in the building says, compared to South Korea, Japan, and China, the Australian military, yes, our military is mid. Lost to rice farmers in Vietnam and cave dwellers in Afghanistan. James Payne Lethal, I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Says, asking for prayer for my beautiful and strong mother, Gloria Payne. Today is her 75th birthday, and she is in the ER battling GIST cancer. I've never heard of that before. What is GIST cancer? Thank you for your content. It makes the day not as difficult. Prayers up for our family. James Payne Lethal, any bag chaser that asks for prayer, we got to give it to them. Bless them. Be with them. Be with their mother. Bless them to be able to battle this successfully. And no matter the outcome, let them know that you're with them. In Jesus' name, amen. Shout out to you, James. I appreciate you for asking for that, because we have no problem sending up our prayers. Organized Truth says, you guys join the chasers. The content lately has been fire. Shout out to my content creators and my bag chasers. Ken J says, who knew all those years ago that the art of the deal was actually about diplomacy? If y'all haven't read, do I got the art of the deal right up there? I think I should have the art of the deal up there somewhere. Then in my other book collection, I see Jim Cramer, Fire and Fury, Cut Your Spending in Half, Tap Dancing to Work, Tandem of America, Bill O'Reilly. I see Richard Branson, Colin Powell's book, Michael Lewis's The Big Short, Silence, Outliers, Napoleon Hill, Malcolm X, Intelligent Investor, Candace Owens Blackout, Crushing It by Gary Vee, Heard You Paint Houses, Neil deGrasse Tyson. What is that? Can't see it. Invent and Wander, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I don't see it up there. Might have to get that from the other place. Thought I had the Art of the Deal up there, but apparently I don't. Apparently I don't have it up there. Think and Grow Rich. Never Split the Difference. Flipping Houses. Kevin Hart, I Can't Make This Up. Huh. I'll have to figure that out. Wonder why I don't have that up there. Seems like I will have that inside of the studio. Anyways, let me go ahead. Shout out to my girl Red Cup Talks podcast where Mika says, I think the Gaza takeover was inevitable anyway. We're going to have to have that conversation on Thursday. RC Wright says, Anton, I've been watching your content since fall 2024. Just joined the Patreon. Time to chase the bag and brush off the dusty dust. I like that. Shout out to you. Congratulations. Gaza property equal money for American Sovereign Wealth Fund. That makes sense. See, somebody is saying something that makes sense. Abe Hunter says, no, sir, this move will cause World War III. Now, U.S. citizens will be all over there. F that. Isaiah Robinson goes on to say, Israel is God, people, and the land is blessed. I don't know about that. High Tolerance says, how do you think this Greenland acquisition will play out with Denmark and the EU? I don't know. We got to see how much he leveraged tariffs on him. Jerry in the building says, I said the same thing yesterday. People always say Israel is our greatest ally, but that relationship is one-sided, ain't it? It's like talking to a pretty girl with no substance. Israel has way too much control in the U.S. affairs and politics. I don't trust it. I don't either. Manuel AG says, only thing I can think of is to prevent another Hamas from forming. Kid Chameleon says, Gaza equal oil and gas reserves and is a port city, making it a strategic trade route in the Middle East. Nightjade goes on to say, great topic to have a research stream on. I would like to figure that out. Sleepy Domain says, if a war was to break there, the U.S. will have no choice but to intervene, and warmongers will always eat. Mr. Malati, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Says, shout out to Trump for being transparent about taking over the Gaza Strip. The real purpose for supporting Israel is to take the resources in that region. The Jews were placed by the West. Tamiko says, just cancel a few subscriptions and join the Bag Chasers. I like that, Tamiko. I love that. Shout out to you, baby. Welcome. Are you back on taking coaching calls? Not yet. I'm working on maybe March. RCP says, do you think it is an optics piece? We did take in Nazi leaders. Why not protect Israel? Also, doesn't our intelligence agencies play well together? I don't know. I don't think any of that stuff. American Golem LLC says the land of Israel was stolen from the Palestinians for the resettlement of Israel, which have been encroaching on land. Now they're taking Gaza. CT Bone says, us always, in my opinion, the U.S. has always supported Israel because it may be biblical regarding Abraham, regarding Gaza. It could be a business financial opportunity depending on what we would own and resources we could own. I don't know what that means, but okay, I got you. Lil Light, shout out to Lil Light, says, many think supporting Israel bring God's favor, but he seeks their acceptance of Christ, not political ties. I agree with that 100%. People must stop relying on the left behind to study scripture to understand God's plan. Alex Ortiz, I appreciate you for holding me down. An American Golem also says, these are not the same star people from the Old Testament. They should not even have Israel. If a case could be made, then the natives have claims. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the platform. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for holding me down. I'll continue to read Super Chats throughout the show. Let's continue. El Salvador. This dude looked like some kind of mobster. I don't know what he is, but El Salvador has some of the toughest prisons in the world. In less than 2 years, they went from completely corrupt and crime everywhere to locking everybody up and not allowing them to hardly see daylight. But also on top of that, they're also offering Americans or offering the United States of America, the ability to send migrants, illegal migrants there, and or some of our worst of our citizens. I want to know what y'all think about this after this segment. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Check it out.
On Secretary of State Marco Rubio's whirlwind tour of Latin America, a potentially unprecedented offer from the president of El Salvador.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
President Nayib Bukele revealing more in a post on X, offering the U.S., quote, the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system in exchange for a fee. And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
He has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence. No country's ever made an offer of friendship such as this.
But that offer, especially to take U.S. citizens, raising major concerns.
It's a non-starter to talk about deporting U.S. citizens. It's point blank unlawful.
Unless someone has committed a crime abroad, extensive constitutional and legal protections exist to prevent that in most cases. And for citizens of other countries apprehended here, regulations are still in place.
They have to follow the very strict requirements Congress has laid out, which means an agreement between the U.S. and El Salvador, but also an absolute guarantee that those individuals will be safe in El Salvador from danger, persecution, and torture.
Rubio today acknowledging it's unclear if such an action would be legal.
Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things, but it's a very generous offer.
That offer would put convicted criminals in President Bukele's notorious mega prison, known as the terrorism.
Night J, why don't you agree with it? I'm not saying that you should or that you shouldn't. I'm just wondering, why don't you agree with it, Night J? Look at how they deal with their criminals over there versus ours. Ours be on TikTok over here. In the United States of America, in our prison system, they drink hooch, they got cell phones, they play TikTok, they do games, they bust down the women correction officers, they get front butt, they do all of that. They work out all day, they wind up getting educated, they come out of prison feeling good, like, ooh, that was a nice little vacation. All right, so what we got going on out here in the real world? Over here in the United States of America, it's like going on vacation, depending on the level of security that you in. Over there,
confinement center. Built by Bukele to house alleged members of gangs that had once helped make El Salvador one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It has become a symbol of his crackdown on crime. That crackdown has swept up 80,000 people and enjoyed public support.
Says nowadays children walk to school. Hold on.
Public support.
Nowadays children walk to school on their own without their parents. Something we don't always enjoy inside of the United States of America. Knowing they will return safely and they won't be kidnapped by gangs.
That mega prison, the size of 7 football stadiums, with the capacity to hold 40,000 prisoners. Movements are tightly controlled. No mattresses are offered. Prisoners spend all but 30 minutes per day in packed cells. The State Department under President Biden called prison conditions in the country harsh and life-threatening.
I'm a little conflicted here. I'm a little conflicted here. And the only reason that I'm conflicted is because I don't agree with a lot of these people that are being convicted in the court of public opinion, and then they come out of jail later only to be recused, or they, you know what I'm saying, basically are said that they was lied on and they went to prison unjustly. For those prisoners, for the people that are falsely accused and are doing prison sentences and basically got me too, I don't agree with it. But they not playing no games over there. They not playing no games. As a matter of fact, let me do the whole thing. Let's go back to the real documentary. This is what they dealing with, and this is how they deal with it. This is how in 2 years, they went to hardly zero crime inside of El Salvador.
All right, we're gonna go in here.
Even as I'm stepping through these doors, I don't fully grasp what we're about to walk into. Suddenly, you're hit with the intense gaze of dozens locking onto you. These men described as the worst of the worst, tattooed with reminders of El Salvador's dark past. It's tense and uncomfortable. But here, officials say comfort isn't meant to exist.
There's no mattresses, there's no sheets. You've got a toilet over here for them to go to the bathroom. You've got this basin here that they use to bathe themselves. And then you can see there's a barrel of water that they can drink from.
This is a rare look inside El Salvador's terrorism confinement center, known as SECOT.
And he says there's always somebody standing here in front of the cells. And then if you look up, there's another corridor with more security personnel. Luz 24 horas. 24/7 light.
The prison sits like
ain't no lights out, 24/7, 365, lights is on, being watched by the guards, no sheets, no mattresses, no nothing. Gosh. And of course, you got a bunch of people, a lot of raging liberals that's out here in these streets that's saying, oh my God, humanitarian conditions. They not playing no games. Zero games. And they don't have no crime now over in El Salvador. Ain't that crazy?
an isolated fortress nestled in mountainous terrain, about an hour-and-a-half drive from the capital. Even with government officials on board with us, we're stopped a mile out.
Oh, okay. He's gonna inspect bags now too. Okay, we're clear to get back in.
Only to hit another checkpoint. Approaching the main gate, our cell signals vanish.
You want to do a full search?
How come the cell signals don't vanish in the prisons that we at? Everybody be on the phone, they be on TikTok, they be doing obstacle courses inside of jail. Y'all be having prison bays.
On us before we enter.
SECOT's director, Belarmino Garcia, greets us and takes us through a rigorous security check.
Wedding ring. So this is like airport security on steroids. Anything that we're carrying with us. Móvil aquí, teléfono. Okay, anything we're carrying with us has to go there. And then there's a body scan that continues on the other side. Okay, shoes off. This one back on.
Gracias. Playing no games, bro.
Once cleared, we toured the
you think I'm playing? They really do obstacle courses inside a prison. I'm gonna see if I can find one for you.
Campus, starting with the armory.
He says they have to constantly remind themselves that they're dealing with essentially the worst of the worst, and for that reason, they need to be ready for whatever risks they might face. It's been equated to 7 football stadiums. It's almost multiple prisons within the prison. You can see off to the distance, there's 3 different rings as they describe. The far end, you have one that's 9 meters high of concrete, and then above that, 3 meters of electrified fencing.
15,000 volts.
15,000 volts.
More than 1,000 security personnel, guards, police, and military are stationed on site. Inmates are assigned to one of 8 sectors.
The director tells me the inmates, once they're inside one of these sectors, they never leave. Everything is done within, including doctors, as well as legal visits or court hearings.
Each sector holds more than 24 large cells.
Roughly 80 inmates per cell, but it can fluctuate.
Most bear the markings of the gangs that held this nation hostage for decades, committing brutal acts of violence.
You gotta kill people, you gotta rob, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
You have to do those things.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
And if you didn't do those things, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't be a gangbanger.
We meet 41-year-old Marvin Vasquez, shackled and heavily guarded.
What gang were you part of?
MS-13.
And do you have any gang affiliations?
Yeah, I'm tattooed up.
What is this?
Crazy criminals. Say crazy criminals. Yeah, I made this clique in 2011.
You made the clique?
Yeah.
You were a gang leader?
Yeah.
What is it like to live here?
It's probably not a hotel 5-star, but they give you the 3 times the food. They give you some programs. You go to do exercise.
Nosotros lo podemos repetir siempre.
Some church or religion programs too.
But that's limited to just 30 minutes a day. The other 23 and a half hours, they're kept inside and locked up.
For inmates who get violent with other prisoners or guards,
we're going to close the door. I just want to get a sense of, wow.
Solitary confinement awaits.
The only light you get is through this hole. And they can be in here for 15 days, potentially.
Nah, I'm good on that. Like, I think that if we had that over here inside of the United States of America, people would be on their best behavior. Nope, people would be on their best behavior. I wouldn't even be interested in participating in such a thing. Yeah, I think that offer is a great offer. I think that we should evaluate it. Since we can't do it here because we got so many civil rights groups that want to fight for the rights of the prisoners, I think we should absolutely evaluate El Salvador's offer. Shout out to them. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to go on to the rest of the show. Who do we have here? Ebony. Shout out to Ebony22. I appreciate you, Ebony. Ebony says Gaza should be taken. They apparently don't know what to do with it. Same as the U.S. What would this land look like if natives had control? Ken J says this can be a thing. Prison as a service. TB goes on to say FBA criminals better start learning Spanish. Casual Germans in the building says better pay y'all taxes on time or play freak-off games in the El Salvador prison. Abe the Hunter says our prisoners be having their own cooking channel. Bed bunk cooking. They do be having their own cooking channel. When we get in that Cybertruck review, I don't really show off my stuff no more. I just kind of buy what I buy. I actually bought 2 new cars that y'all not even familiar with. One of them I talked about it, I think yesterday. The TRX that I bought. But other than that, I don't even say nothing about the cars that I get now. Go in there, we'll get the young Pookies in line. Captain Brown says, imagine how much crime in the U.S. would decline if laws were amended to require American citizens convicted of serious crimes to serve their sentences in El Salvador. It would be crazy. Executive Suite MLE says they be on IG Live in prison with 2K women viewers. They do. And the women be lusty. Love Curly Hair says, my friend has a brother that's locked up for over 2 years. He has no idea if he's even alive. He is happy that his country is safe. However, can't get any information on his brother. Can't get any information on his brother. Shout out to you. High Tolerance says this right here makes any Supermax look like a halfway house. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Last thing that I want to go over with y'all is a young lad. We got another young lad. Shout out to the young lads. Saying, y'all sent this to me in an email, so of course I want to review and also give credit to the content creators. A young lad saying that he just quit his job at 25 years old and he's risking everything. His name is Chief Keese. Chief Keese, Keese, Chief Keese, okay? As of right now, of the recording of this video, he has 144 subscribers. I have not watched the video yet. I only watched maybe 30 seconds of it just to make sure that it was something that we could actually have a conversation about. And if you like his content, and if you want to go over there and you want to subscribe and you want to comment, just let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. We are going to review this authentically. Again, says he's 25 years old and he's risking it all and he's quitting his job. Take a look, y'all.
At some point, you just got to take a risk. Literally today, I just quit my job. I was working there for about 13 months, so a little over a year. And for the past few weeks before, and I literally just quit today, mind you. Today was the day, literally just a few hours ago. But yeah, and I didn't quit the job with like, oh, I have another job in mind. I realized if I want to elevate in my life and get to that next level, I got to take the risk, man. I'm ready to,
We got to get the full context before we judge. Let's learn as much as we can. Let's get the full context before we judge. All right, guys? I can kind of think of what I can see this is going, but let's get the context, y'all.
Be my own boss, work for myself. And this is extremely risky because I'm 25 years old. I have a 2-year-old son who greatly depends on me and his mother. I live in a condo. Rent isn't extremely generous here. It does cost. There's a lot of bills that need to be paid. I have a dog. I have my lady. So it's not the most cheapest situation on the planet. So it is extremely risky. I'm risking everything.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start judging. Now that I got some more context. See, I thought it was just him by himself, to be honest with you, when I first started seeing this. I thought this was him by himself. I didn't know that he was supporting a woman. I did not know that he had a 2-year-old. I did not know that he was living in an expensive condo. I didn't know any of that. I thought that it was just him. He can go back home at 25, that he could put everything he is. Maybe he can get an investment from his parents or something like that. I didn't know that this, this is different. This is different. I don't know if y'all know what it feels like to have a young child dependent on you. And I've been in situations personally, right, where I'm going to come back to him. I've been in situations personally where I did not like corporate at the time when my daughter was very, very young. It was some bosses, some managers that I've had in my life, and I've had this conversation with you guys before. It was some managers that I've had in my life that I would go to work and it would be like war within myself because it was painful. It was very, very painful. And one time I had to sit down with my manager because every day when I would come home to my daughter, and my daughter was very, very young, I would come home to my daughter and I would just say to myself, ain't no way that your feet is ever going to hit the ground. I'm going to make sure that you're always taken care of. And when you're doing it as a man for something bigger than yourself, to make sure that your family is taken care of, to build a legacy because you have a vision for your life, you make sacrifices. And I've always been taught that the true measure of a man is doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. So I was a soldier. And I never looked at the job and said, is something wrong with them? Is something wrong with my manager? Having a child for me humbled me when it came to getting to the bag. So I never would blame the job. I would never blame the system. I would never say it was anybody else's fault. I would go in and I would say, you know what am I doing wrong? How can I have a difference, a different perception or a different look for me? Because I know I'm not going to get to the highest levels in this circumstance, having so much friction and going back and forth with your manager, even though I was making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I was miserable knowing that I had to gird up every day and I didn't know what the next day was going to be like. And so I sat my manager down and I had a one-on-one with him. I asked him for a one-on-one. We sat down, and that's when he gave me Henry Kissinger's Diplomacy. He told me to read it. I changed my mindset. I started staying later. I worked harder. I just threw myself into it. I developed friends. I started asking him, what is it that he needs from me in order for me to make him look good? And then in turn, he helped me get promoted. He helped me get a bag. We still friends to this day. And my whole life changed. But my point is that I had to change my mindset towards what success was supposed to look like for me and stop looking at it as far as me being the victim or everything that I did. Nobody was paying attention to it. Nobody giving me enough credit. I work. I get better numbers than everybody else. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I wasn't a cultural fit. I wasn't a nice person to work with. And I had to change my mentality, my personality. And then after that is when I started working on everything else. I always had other things going on outside of that, but I started dedicating myself even more after I got off of work towards my outside businesses, and I was going to do both. But no way in hell was you ever going to get me to quit my job. If it was worth it for me to do my businesses or content creation or whatever it was, then I was going to do it after work, and I was going to get everything I could out of those positions and made sure that that benefit package, because let me tell you something. I needed that health care coverage for my daughter. I needed that life insurance. I needed every single thing. I needed that 401k because I was thinking about the future. And I needed the opportunity to be able to advance in that position. I needed the networking. I needed all of that. So I started looking inward and started looking outward. But when you have a child, you can't just do what you want to do when you want to do it. That's my personal opinion anyway. But let's continue. I want to continue with the story.
I was prepared for the pushback from friends and family, my significant other, anybody who had pushback, but she supports me, and I'm grateful and blessed for that. But I realized, especially as a black male, because I worked at an office job, I worked in a call center, and I busted my ass, man. Like, I did everything that my managers asked of me, and then some. I took on a leadership role there. I mean, I did everything. And one thing I realized is when you're in the industry, like working in an office or stuff like that, anything that's not a labor, break your back, Amazon delivery driver, something like that. I don't know. I just feel like management and people in higher positions always look at you with a yeah, but because the people in the higher positions, they're all, Caucasian.
Yeah, he gonna have problems. He gonna have problems. Now it's, oh man, people in higher positions, they're all Caucasians. It's because I'm black. It's because they're white. That's the reason that they're excelling. We have to listen. The minute that you stop being a victim, the minute that you stop blaming everything on identity politics, it has nothing to do. Family, you only been there for a year. You've been there for a year. He said he's been there for a year. What did you expect? To be the vice president of the company within a year? You've been there for a year, bro.
I have nothing against, it is what it is, and I don't want to make this like this type of video, but I just realized, just as an African-American male working in that space, there's no winning. There's not. There's always going to be a question mark no matter how good you do, no matter how much you outperform and put up the best stats and show up on time and do everything and lead and hold yourself accountable, anything they ask, overtime, all that. It's always going to be, yeah, but, and I just didn't like the direction my job was going. It was almost like they were just, the more I did, the more they expected. And it's just like, yeah, well, and then there's people, moving up faster than me. But I'm like, dude, I'm hustling. So, I've always been kind of a person who always wanted to work for myself. And I have a plan, I'm going to get into, running my own business. And uploading on YouTube, of course. I've always...
Oh, my God. All right. Let me go and see, because I know he can't be monetized with 144 subscribers yet. So let me go into his stuff. I want to go to his channel. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to go to his channel. Five views on a video. How to avoid the friend zone and start intimacy. Oh, Jesus. Lord have mercy.
What's up with y'all boys, man? I know y'all see the title, man. I got something a little different up the sleeve. Hold on, let me get my camera angles right. I need to get my angles a little right. All right, let's go. What's up with y'all boys, man? I know y'all seen the title, and I just want to make this video. I've been seeing a lot of people, a lot of dudes recently making, relationship-centered videos and getting female videos, getting women, all that type of stuff, man. And I just wanted to put my input on it, man, because I've always, enjoyed talking about this, speaking to the young bucks, enlightening the young folk, putting them on game per se, about some of the shit I learned. I've had experience in the past with, a few different women, I've been out in the field, got a little bit battle tested. So, I'm not here to talk about me too much per se. I just want to enlighten y'all, man. And if anybody got any questions, any objections, any concerns, go ahead and speak. Feel free to get at your boys. Say something in the comments. Let me know if you don't agree. That's fine. We don't got to agree. We can agree, but we can just agree to disagree. And that's perfectly fine, man. I'm cool and content with that. I don't got to argue with none of y'all, man. We already argue with these women enough. Well, we arguing amongst each other, man. We all brothers. You feel what I'm saying? But, I just want to drop a quick video. I don't know, speaking some...
Is this a fresh and fit audition video? Is this a fresh and... Is this a fresh and fit audition video? Jesus Christ. Let's see some... Listen, honest to God, I've never seen this video before. I want to get some of his advice because I'm trying to evaluate whether or not him being a content creator is going to work out.
Some knowledge, man. So, what's one point of interest I want to talk about when it comes to, getting women?
Got the popcorn ceilings. I see you, big dog.
And stuff like that, because there's a lot of realms, a lot of layers to it. It's simple, it's difficult at the same time. You feel what I'm saying? It's simple, but there's a lot of steps and not a lot. It's complicated, man, but women is complicated. You feel what I'm saying? So, I just want to make something real quick. So, how about this, man? I'm gonna start with the basics, man. Is how to get a girl, you feel me, to let you dive in and super smash, you feel me, some...
Oh, man, I wasn't expecting this level of comedy today. Not the super smashing. Okay, all right. You feel me? All right. Yo, we gonna get the super smashing on these chicks today. I think he deserved to be on the Q show. What do y'all think? Super smash. Okay.
Some chicarinos. You feel me? How can you get the you know what I'm saying? The light. You know what I'm saying? How
This
can
is
you
more
dive in that swimming
this is more entertaining than the video that he was quitting his job on.
pool and get the swimming? You feel me? What does it take? How do you make it happen?
Okay.
You feel me? So my young boys, my homies, my brethren watching right now that might struggle on sealing a deal, or if you get, let's say, you get friends on the line, right? Like say you know females, you hang out with women, you hang out with females, they come to the crib, all that, but you can't seal the deal. You can't, hit that home run and, get all the way back to home base. You feel me? It's a struggle. They be playing. I know how they get, man, because women, they come over, they be playing. They don't, they have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You You got to play your cards right, because you make them uncomfortable. They don't want to do nothing no more. They're like, oh, no, we're not doing that. You're like a friend. They try and friend zone you. You're like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, trying, shrug you off like,
Lord,
they ain't feeling that.
Oh, my
How can you
God.
overcome this? How can you overcome a woman looking at you in this friend light, or not wanting to, let you hit that home run and touch all four bases.
Carter, you said he got to get his job back.
How do you initiate that, the act of doing it, and and seal the deal? You feel me? Because getting a number, that's the easy part. Getting the female's number, IG, that's the easy part. Easy, especially the IG. They giving out the IG all day. They want followers. Females like clout. Getting the followers, just because you follow her and she might follow you back, I mean, that's cool. That's a point. If a female follow you back, that's solid. But you want to, seal the deal. You feel what I'm saying? You trying to bring that thing.
Jesus,
you
Lord.
feel me? You trying to, hey, yeah.
I got to take my jacket off for this one.
Who don't? That's the objective, right? It's one of the objectives. You want to seal the deal.
Man.
You feel me? So, step one. So, I'm going to skip the phone number part, all that, because that could be another video. That's a whole another thing. So, it's not too difficult, though. All right, so say you got a little female coming over. You met off, the Tinder. I know y'all using the Hinge now. Whatever, right? I've had the experience. I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. So, you got a female coming over. You're finna meet her for the first time, right? So, you over here getting ready. You getting prepared. You hyping up. She send you that text. Drop Addy. What's the Addy? She finna pull up. You feel me? And there's also a reverse if you pull up on her. I can drop a video on that. But I'm going to say if she pulls up on you, because females do like to do this too. So say she pull up on you, right? So you say, hey, drop the Addy. I'm pulling up. Okay, boom, you send her to Addy. Boom, she about to pull up, right? You ain't got to pick her up. She finna slide, right? So you're like, okay. You getting ready. You getting your little zone, right? All right, you feel me? You got to make sure you looking good. You look in the mirror. Make sure you straight. Teeth looking fresh. Mouth ain't stinking. Breath ain't stinking. Got a little cool little fit on. You feel me? But you don't want to do too much. You want to look fly, though, but don't be overdoing it.
All right, I can't do it no more. I'm done. All right, let's get back to his quit video. So now that we have a little bit of context of what his content is like on his channel, we're going to get back to the quitting video, and we're going to see what he's talking about on that one, all right?
To work for myself, and I have a plan. I'm gonna get into running my own business, and uploading on YouTube, of course. I've always been off and on YouTube, especially on this channel, off and on for several years. As you can probably look back, I've experimented with many forms of content. It's just been hard to keep up with, but I will be uploading quite frequently on this channel, most likely a lot more. Just giving updates and giving my advice and my experiences and my perspective on things, and trying to pass the knowledge, as much knowledge as I have through my experience.
No, we don't. No, we don't need no knowledge right now. But I want to know more about your journey, big dog.
Experiences and through the things I've went through to you guys. I worked a lot of jobs, guys. You name it, I've done it. Delivery, warehouse, office, HR, call center, janitor, you name it, pawn shop. You name it, Walmart. I worked at a freaking Japanese store called Daiso, an Asian store that sold random, Hello Kitty and Sanrio and a whole bunch of other.
Big dog, you need a education. Honestly, you need to buckle down, get an education so that you can get a real job. All of these little fly-by-night jobs, and I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with working, but all of these little fly-by-night jobs, you need a real job that pays good benefits, that can help you feed your family. You need to go and get a job, work while you're going to school. You can work on your businesses too, and you need to really, really hustle, bro. You need to hustle. You need to hustle for the next 5 to 10 years like your life depends on it. Every day you need to be working, going to school full-time online, and possibly working a second job and working your businesses if that's what you want to work, if that's what you want to do. But all of these janitor, Walmart, Japanese store, call center, all of this nonsense that you got going on, bro. Honestly, you approaching that age, honestly, because most guys, by the time that they hit about 27, 28, 29 years old, that's D-Day. That's D-Day, honestly. 27, 28, 29 years old, that is D-Day, bro. That's D-Day. That's the time that you're going to have to make a decision. You don't have no more time left. Women are going to start getting antsy like, shoot, I've been holding this dude down for a long time. We got a 7-8-year-old kid, and the kid is starting to know what's going on. They know that they dusty. They getting teased in school. You know what I'm saying? Your girl gonna start getting antsy. She gonna start trying to figure out what her life gonna look like. She gonna start questioning your leadership. You gonna start having to figure out what you want to do. You got a lot of debt. You just been spinning your wheels. You in the same spot that you was when you was 25 years old, except for you older now. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna start getting some love handles if you're not real diligent and careful, and it's gonna start getting dusty. It's gonna start getting dusty. By the time you almost hit 30, that is when you're gonna have to make some hard decisions on going in this direction, tunnel vision, no way out. We can't take no more chances. Right now, you're 25, but you got a kid. So now you can't. No more time, bro. No more time. I'm being honest to God. I'm being honest as hell with you. No more time. You gotta get on it, bro. That video that you did, that wasn't it, big dog.
The cool stuff there. I mean, you name it, bro. I worked at quite a few jobs. So this is being my own boss has always been something I've been interested in. Just because you get tired of just being devalued and disrespected, and at some point you got to recognize your value and recognize your worth and recognize your potential. But potential is one thing, but you actually have to act on it. You can't just be scared forever. I'm 25, but when you have a kid, it changes your mindset a bit. I'm 25, but I'm living like I'm 35. I feel like I'm a bit older than, my mindset feels a bit older right now than maybe compared to some other 25-year-olds that don't have kids, because having a kid does change your mindset. But this is what I'm gonna do. This is an extreme risk, but I'm going all in 100%. You gotta take risks in life. Like my guy on TV, FS1, Colin Coward. You gotta take big swings, man, if you want to elevate. And I want to elevate. Being stagnant, being at the bottom, fighting against all the the stuff, working for a company just to barely get anywhere. I could work for a company for 5, 10, 15 years just to make a couple bucks more. It's a couple bucks more. It's not. What am I doing here? I'm grinding my ass for.
Ken J, you said you don't think he quit. You think he got fired? That may be a possibility too. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Ken J. Nobody just quits their job without not a backup plan. If you got a kid and a girl and bills and a condo that you got to pay for, and you quit, you just going to quit? Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that anybody just quits their job with a 2-year-old and a girl that they got to take care of and a condo that they got to pay for that they live in because the rent is high nowadays. I don't believe it either. I 100% agree with you, Ken J. I 100% agree with you. I don't believe that anybody just quit their job without no backup plan. So you quit your job with no income, no job, no nothing. I agree with you, Ken J. I agree with you 100%. We got to start reading between the lines. I believe that he got fired. I'd love to have a conversation with him and see what he got to say, but I'm going to drop a link if I clip this up, and then I'll see if you want to have a conversation, because a lot of people get offended by this when you start to bring him back to the reality, but I don't believe that he quit his job either. Not even a little bit.
Hours a week at a job. I could use those 40 hours and put into my business what I want to do, my businesses, into my company, into what I want to grow, instead of benefiting someone else. And this is stuff we've all heard before, but the time is now. And I recommend to you, if you've been feeling like, 2025, this is my year, I'm going to take over, I'm going all in, do it.
And he said he had a dog. You're right. He said he had a dog.
For bro. This isn't some success video. This is just me just kind of documenting the journey, and and it is scary. It's very scary, but sometimes you just gotta do what you can, especially as a man. You gotta follow your gut and do what you think is gonna be best in the long run for yourself, for your family, and just in general. And you wanna do what makes you happy. That's what it's all about, because if you're not happy, then what are you really doing? You work at some job, but if you're miserable, that bleeds into your regular life. You're miserable, chances are the people around you are probably gonna be miserable too. So, working on what you like on the side. An hour or two a day on your side project, your side business, whether it's, Amazon FBA, FBM, which I'm gonna be getting into, music or, art, whatever it is. Spend an hour or two a day when you come home from work, whatever, put the kids to bed, and just put an hour or two a day into it. Open up your computer, open up your laptop, and just do your research and just put yourself in.
What I've learned in life is that nobody wants to hear from a person that's in the process. The process is for you to be able to come back to and say, this is where I came from. Y'all can go and check my stats, go back and check my history, go and see what I did, go and see where I came from. I've always been this way. I haven't changed. The journey has brought me here. This is how I can motivate you, and you can do it too. That's what the process is for. It's for everybody else. Nobody wants to hear advice from a person that's not successful yet. Just God's honest truth. Nobody cares until you can show a receipt, until you can show a card, until you can show your bank account, until you can show them the success. Then they want to have a conversation with you. Nobody can take advice from anybody that's not already there. If you just suffering, you just coping. That's really what it is. And I don't believe that he just quit his job. I do believe that he probably got fired, but that's just my opinion. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let me read these super chats. Shout out to LaFleur, says face palming. Please tell me YouTube isn't part of his plan. That's what he said, Manuel AG. Rich Steve says, a 25-year-old giving relationship advice that probably, he married. He said, well, no. He had a ring on his finger. It looked like he had a ring on his finger. I don't know if he was married or not. He quit his job to do this. Don't piss me off, Jerry. Jerry, man is the word of the day. J-O-B. Anton, please do this corny. Turn it off, says Ashley Peterson. Y'all so mean. Here, let me get him off the screen. I don't want to embarrass him. Word salad with a side of hand clapping, hold the croutons. Courtney Egger says, I don't care how big my YouTube platform gets, it will become big, and it will become big. I will keep my 9 to 5 until I no longer need it, and it's in a way of the bigger bag. Buddy, you are 100% right. That is the right attitude to have for it until it's in the way of what you're doing from a financial perspective. That is the exact way that you need to look at it. Never lost a brain cell watching Anton videos until today. Whoever mentoring this young man need Jesus and the Holy Ghost. We mentoring him now, Captain Brown. We giving him the game, baby. JT, this dude doing a skit. That's what JT said. Berta's baby boy says, owning a business is working with no days off, no PTO, no vacation time, no sick days, etc. He is YouTube dreaming and forgot his own reality. Sir, beg for your job back and get back to work. Facts. 100%, especially in this environment. Kelvin says, homie talk like he has hot breath. Ladybug Reseller says, and some question the age of the DOGE team. Yeah, I agree. Abe the Hunter says, did we find Q Diddy replacement? He got it. We never can replace Q Diddy. He's irreplaceable. 80, stop. We got adults watching. It's important for y'all to see what this looks like. When y'all talk to me, I want y'all to see what y'all look like. Anton banned me from your channel, so I'm not forced to watch this. Nope. Rich Steve says, I never looked at a 25-year-old for advice, even when I was younger. 3-Man Podcast says, homie need to put lotion on the hands. Martin Muhammad says, this is the tragedy of innocence tied to ignorance. Y'all cooking today. 392Q says, first super chat. Let me get a round of applause for you. About to join that Patreon. Trucker, best mount TV man in St. Louis, just bought my first vending machine. Will you ever be a guest on Fresh and Fit? You'll be a great guest. I've never been invited. Nobody's invited me. I'll be open to pretty much anything, but nobody's ever invited me. DJ Ace Production says, if bored in a house was a person. And you know what's so funny? I think I'm about to go to Miami today. Ain't that crazy? I think I'm going to fly to Miami today. That's what I'm going to do. But I've never been invited. Maybe I'll tap in with Organic. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If bored in the house was a person, can't be bored as a man, 25-year-old man. Ashley Peterson says, I hope this woman left him. Ain't no way he left his job for this advice. I would press charges on him if he came across me. Pure diabolical. Martin Muhammad said the real players are going to super smash this content. Jesus. Night of the Walking Dead, no brains. Jarius says, go get your job back, little homie. Red Pill Rage gonna destroy him when his girl on leave. He act like he is drunk. Jesus, y'all killing this guy. My guess is he pissed high school down the drain. 392Q says, quit your job with no plan is diabolical work. His girl on the phone with Cuddy right now. Baton Dog. 8 facts, AD. All Fendi facts. Once you clock 28, 29, you start thinking about the future and a better life. Every guy's been there. Ain't nothing like the Victim Olympics party. Anton, that's the promise ring. And Sean Bill says, he ain't no man, single father here, and I never quit my job at 85K plus with no income. My daughter well-being over my happiness. I don't respect it. Grind harder. That's how most men think. That is how most men think. Anyways, it's been a great show. Great show. Hopefully, I'll call and see if I can get me a flight booked, and we'll see. I don't know when I'm coming back, though, because it's cold here. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I think y'all are the greatest on earth. I'm going to get that Patreon video together for y'all, but I got to get out of here. It's too cold. I got to figure it out. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay focused. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay up. I'm out. Peace.